What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. I have kind of a news flash, I think, for some of you, and that is that full-time private practice, or full-time therapy work for that matter, is not the best fit for every therapist. In fact, I'm willing to even venture out there and make the controversial statement that it's not the best fit for the average therapist. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that. Just keep in mind this is my perspective and my opinion, and you're welcome to see it differently than I do. So in this video, I'll share my perspective on why I think full-time private practice isn't the best fit for everyone, and offer some tools to help you figure out if full-time private practice is a good fit for you. Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. So let's paint a picture of the ideal career trajectory for some therapists. You get started in private practice, you slowly build up to full-time, and then you just feel like you're loving your life because full-time private practice is your jam. That may be some of you watching this video. But in contrast, let's also paint a picture of what happens to a lot of other therapists in private practice. You start out small in private practice, slowly build over time to a full-time private practice, and then realize you feel like you're working too much. You don't really like doing the work that you're doing anymore, and you start to question if you picked the right career after all. And then you wonder about the meaning of life. This is the story for so many therapists I know, where after you hit a certain point, you're seeing maybe 25 plus clients a week, you start to feel really dissatisfied with the work. And for some people, they just keep plugging along, seeing that many clients a week, but just really not loving their life because, you gotta pay bills. Or, you make some adjustments in your schedule where you scale back on your therapy work, and then you maybe add on some other things that you enjoy with your productive hours, like you teach or, you parent your kids or whatever it is that you want to do with your time. But the thing is, for a lot of therapists who scale back to part-time, they feel a lot of shame, like they wonder if therapy really is the best career fit for them, and I want to challenge this perspective in this video. The point I'm really hoping to get across today is that if you have a dream to become a therapist, or you already are a therapist in private practice, and you always pictured this life where you'd be doing full-time therapy work, and then you get there and you feel disappointed about how it feels to do it full-time, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're not cut out to be a therapist. This is how I hear so many people interpret this outcome, and I disagree. In fact, I personally am working super part-time right now as a therapist. I'm only seeing 8 clients a week, and my practice is full. And this is a good fit for me right now in this phase of life. If you're curious to hear more about my story of why I'm not working full-time in private practice, I shared all of that in an earlier video, so I'll link to that below if you're interested. But for now, let's talk about some ways that you can figure out whether full-time private practice is for you or not. First, do a slow build into private practice. Technically, you don't have to figure out in advance of launching your private practice if full-time private practice is for you or not. You can just build up slowly over time, and whenever you feel that you've hit your sweet spot as far as your caseload size, then that's where you can stop building your caseload. Now, in most cases, people end up hitting their sweet spot, not realizing that's where they're at. They push past it a bit, and then they start to feel like, ooh, this is too many. Like if your sweet spot is 15 clients a week, you get to like 18 or 20 and start to feel like, I wish I was seeing fewer clients. That's fine. Once you hit that spot, notice it and give yourself permission to scale back down to wherever your sweet spot is. The takeaway that I'm trying to communicate here, and I'm going to keep emphasizing, is that you have permission to work as much or as little as you want in private practice. And you can engage in other interests that generate income as well. You don't have to feel that pressure that you have to see full-time clients in private practice, or else you're not cut out to be a therapist. Tip number 2, ask yourself the question, if money weren't a factor, how would I be spending my time? Now, I realize if money weren't a factor, we wouldn't be living in real life anymore, but the intent behind asking this question is to just really get a sense of, if it were totally up to you and you could spend your time however you wanted, what would that look like? And get a sense of that. And if it looks really different than working full-time in private practice, well, what is it? What other interests are there that you are really excited about? And chances are that you could probably monetize those interests if that's what you want to do. But at the very least, it'll give you a sense of how many therapy hours per week makes sense for you in private practice. And piggybacking off of that idea, tip number 3 is to allow yourself to think outside of the therapist-only box. Just because you're not working full-time in private practice doesn't mean that you're not working full-time as a person. Some of the most fulfilled therapists I know have very multifaceted interests and expressions for how they use their productive hours, whether it's part-time in private practice and part-time parent, or spending half your time working on a side hustle outside of private practice. Or, I even have a friend who's a therapist and an accountant, so she does that half and half, and it's a good win. Whatever it looks like for you, allow yourself to think outside of the therapist-only box because there may be some interests that you love. It doesn't have to be confined to wherever you got your degree in. And tip number 4, see your career path as shifting. It's not helpful to just have one static view of what your career has to look like and then sort of sustain over time. So for example, it might be that for now, full-time private practice really is a good fit for you, but that in the next season of life, it might make sense to scale back to part-time for whatever reason and spend the rest of your productive hours doing something else. One of the huge wins of private practice is you can tailor it depending on what fits you best in that current season of life that you're in. So just be open to it shifting with the tides of life because, there may be seasons where you love it full-time and seasons where you don't. And that's totally fine. Now, with all that I said in this video, if full-time private practice is for you forever and ever, more power to you. I don't want this video to come across as like anti-full-time private practice, but the thing that I really want to communicate is that there's no shame if part-time private practice is a better fit for you, or part-time therapy work in whatever capacity you work in. I know so many therapists who find that sweet spot in more of a part-time caseload and then carry so much shame that somehow they're not living up to their potential, helping enough people, being a good therapist, fill in the blank, and all of those things just aren't true. So whether your sweet spot looks like working full-time in private practice, working part-time, not working in private practice at all, find what that is and embrace it. There's no shame. Just you do you. You do you. I'm here for you, whatever it is. And thank you to TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. Whatever capacity you work in private practice, whether it's part-time, full-time, or something in between, TherapyNotes has everything you need to manage your practice. And their telehealth platform is also free for all of their users. So go on and have at it and enjoy your free telehealth platform. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you found this video validating no matter what your private practice sweet spot looks like, whether it's part-time or full-time. Let me know in the comments what your ideal schedule looks like as a therapist right now. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well.